Hello and welcome. Today we are diving into something pretty fascinating, the science of people at work. It's called organizational behavior, and trust me, it's more interesting than it sounds. So let's get right into it. You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You've got a team, everyone's smart, the goal is clear, but it's just a slog. And then you see another team that seems to have this incredible chemistry, and everything they touch turns to gold. What is going on there? What's the secret sauce? Well, it turns out there's an entire field of study dedicated to cracking that exact code. It's called organizational behavior, or OB for short. And really, it's all about digging into why people act the way they do at work. The big goal here isn't just to observe, but to actually use that knowledge to make things better for individuals, for their teams, and for the whole organization. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Isn't this all just common sense? Be nice to people and they'll work hard? Well, not exactly. It goes so much deeper than that. OB is a real science, and it gets its power by mixing together a bunch of different fields. Yeah, just look at this. OB is kind of like a master detective. It pulls clues from psychology to figure out what makes an individual tick. It uses sociology to understand how groups behave and interact. It borrows from anthropology to understand the deep-seated culture of a company. You know, the way we do things around here. And it even pulls from economics to understand what motivates people and how they make choices. It's this mix that makes it so incredibly insightful. So, how in the world do you study something so complex? Well, OB has a really smart way of breaking it all down. It looks at the workplace through 3 different lenses, or levels. And once you understand these levels, you can start to diagnose what's happening in almost any organization. First up, we've got the micro level. This is where we zoom all the way in. It's all about the individual, the you at your desk. So at this level, we're asking questions like, what drives this specific person? What are their core values? What makes them truly satisfied with their job? And here's a fun fact. A lot of managers obsess over personality tests, but OB research actually shows that a person's personality is a pretty weak predictor of how well they'll do their job. What's way more important? Things like whether their personal values line up with the company's culture. That's what really unlocks potential. Okay, so we have the individual, but work doesn't happen in a vacuum, right? So let's zoom out a bit from you to us. This is the meso level, and it's all about groups and teams. This is where things get messy and fascinating. This is all about the interactions between people. How does this team communicate? Is there a clear leader, or is it a power struggle? How do they handle disagreements? We all know that you can have a team of absolute superstars, but if the group dynamics are toxic, that project is going nowhere. This level helps us understand why. And finally, let's pull the camera all the way back. We've looked at the person, we've looked at the team, now let's look at the whole playground. This is the macro level, the organization as one big system. This is about the invisible architecture that shapes everything. What's the company's real culture? You know, the unwritten rules about what gets you promoted or what gets you in trouble. How is the company actually structured, and does that help or hinder work? And the big one, how does this entire system deal with change? These are the huge forces that impact absolutely everyone inside the company. Now, this way of thinking didn't just pop up overnight. 100 years ago, the dominant idea was scientific management. The thinking was that people were basically cogs in a machine, and the goal was just to find the single, most efficient way to do a task. But then came the famous Hawthorne studies, and they stumbled onto something huge. They found that just paying attention to workers, making them feel seen and valued, boosted their productivity more than anything else. It was a massive revelation. That discovery that people are social creatures, not machines, basically gave birth to the modern field of OB we know today. Okay, so that's a cool history lesson, but so what? Why should we care about this stuff right now? Is it just for academics? Oh, absolutely not. It's more critical today than it has ever been. I mean, just look at the biggest headaches that keep leaders up at night. How do we get our teams to be more innovative? How do we build a great company culture with people working all over the world? How do we empower our employees so they don't leave? How do we make sure people act ethically? Organizational behavior isn't just theory. It provides the actual evidence-based playbook for tackling these exact challenges. If you take away just one thing, let it be this. The key word in organizational behavior is application. This isn't just about collecting interesting facts about people. It's about taking that knowledge and actively using it to build better, smarter, and just plain healthier places to work. So I'll just leave you with this thought. Think about your own job, your own team, your own company. How could a deeper understanding of what really makes people tick at the individual, the group, and the system level, how could that genuinely transform your own experience at work? It's a pretty powerful question.